Have you ever had a moment, maybe late at night, maybe in the middle of an ordinary day, when you realize that you don't recognize the life you're living anymore? It's not broken, but it's not you. You're busy, but you feel distant from your purpose. You're surrounded by noise, but internally you still feel numb. Checking all the boxes, but something inside still feels empty. And maybe you're sitting there watching me thinking, yeah, but I didn't choose this, it just happened. But here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. If you don't choose your life with intention, life will choose it for you. And the longer you drift, the harder it is to come back home to yourself. In part 1, we talked about the power of setting intention. In part 2, we talked about how to align your identity, your environment, and your relationships. But today we're gonna go a little deeper. Because once you stop drifting, once you wake up to who you really are, you don't just need vision, you need discipline, design, and direction. This is about how to actually build a life that reflects you, your values, your calling, and your deepest truth. So if you've been drifting, this is your wake-up call. Let's clear something up. Drifting doesn't feel chaotic. It actually feels comfortable, familiar, manageable. It's fine, but fine is a trap. It ain't good, but it ain't bad. And when you're drifting, you're moving, but it's not movement that you've chosen. You're reacting, you're coasting, you're doing what's expected of you, but not what's true to you. Drifting is subtle. It shows up like saying yes when you really mean no. It shows up like avoiding mirrors because you don't like what's looking back at you. It shows up like keeping peace outside when the truth is you're at war on the inside. But the good thing about drifting is you don't need to crash to realize you're off course. You just need to pause and ask, is the life I'm living a reflection of who I really am or who I've settled to be? And I'm gonna tell you something that's hard but freeing. You're allowed to course correct. You're allowed to wake up at any point and say, I've been drifting, but I'm done. Pause right now and ask yourself, where in my life have I stopped driving? And what would it look like to take the wheel back? Because here's the truth. A life lived on autopilot won't lead you to your purpose or your calling. And if we're gonna start figuring some of this out, the very first thing we need to do is design a life that reflects our values and not just our obligations. Here's a gut check question that could transform everything. Does my calendar reflect my calling or just my commitments? Many are exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but they're exhausted because they're doing too much of the wrong things. We say we value peace, but we fill every moment with noise. We say we value growth, but we never set aside time to learn and reflect. We say we value purpose, but we spend all our energy trying to please people that don't even know the real us in the first place. And I want you to remember this. You will never build a life you love by abandoning yourself. You have to design your days with purpose. That means you block out time for your vision, not just your errands. That means you might schedule rest, just like it's a meeting with your future self. That means you protect your energy like it's the battery of your potential, because it is. If you want alignment in an area, you need boundaries, not to push people out, but to protect what matters. I challenge you to audit your week and highlight anything that doesn't reflect your values, and then begin to start the process of shifting it, even if it's small, even if it's hard. Because at the end of the day, if your habits don't align with your values, your life will slowly drift into someone else's story. So we have design, and next we have discipline. Becoming the person your future requires takes consistent, quiet, often uncelebrated discipline. There is a difference between inspiration and identity. Inspiration is loud, it feels good. But identity is built in the moments that no one sees. Getting up earlier when it would be easier to sleep in. Saying no to what's easy so that you can say yes to what's aligned. Showing up with excellence even though no one's clapping yet. This is the real work of intentional living. Not just dreaming of who you want to be, but training for it. And discipline isn't about punishment. It's devotion to your potential. It's not about hustle. It's really about honor. It's about honoring your future self enough to show up today like they're already watching. And I challenge you to pick one non-negotiable habit this week. Just one, and tie it to your identity. That's a fancy way of saying don't do it for the results. Do it to prove who you are. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're not just building discipline, you're building trust with you. Here's what I've learned the hard way. You don't burn out from working hard. Often you burn out by doing things that aren't aligned with who you want to become, or forgetting why you started the positive things. Your why is the anchor in the storm. And it's crazy how most people never revisit it. They don't keep it in front of their eyes. And because it's not in front of their eyes, they lose sight of the reason and start chasing the routine. That's how pressure becomes passion. That's how purpose turns into performance. And so I want to offer you the invitation to come back to your why. Remember why you started that dream. Remember why you cared about that goal. Remember why the version of you you're becoming matters. And when you reconnect your why, you're going to reignite your direction. So write it down. One sentence. I'm doing this because, and then put it somewhere you can see it daily. Keep it in front of your eyes. And let your why guide you when your motivation fades. Because your why isn't just the start, it's the fuel to finish. Now in part 2, I talked about the story of the empty chair. So if you haven't seen part 2, go check out part 2. But as a quick refresher, there's an empty chair with your name on it and few sit in it. And here's another layer to that truth. The chair isn't reserved for the perfect version of you. It's reserved for the present version of you. But a lot of us won't sit in that chair that's reserved for us because we feel like we are not good enough, we're not ready enough to take a seat. It's not for the perfect version of you. It's for the present version of you. So stop waiting for more proof. Go establish the proof. Stop stalling for more permission. You don't need permission. Stop assuming that your future is somewhere out there, because your future starts here with you right now. Not with a plan, not with a title, not with external validation, but with the decision that I will no longer drift through a life that doesn't reflect who I am. There's an old story about a master carpenter who worked for decades building homes for other people. He was skilled, the boy was good, one of the best. But somewhere along the way, his work became a routine. He stopped caring about the details. He started cutting little corners here and a little corner there. He was building houses, but his heart wasn't in it anymore. One day, his employer called him and said, I want you to build one final house before you retire. Use the best materials, make it your finest work. The carpenter agreed, but the spark was gone. So he rushed through the project. He used the worst materials, the cheapest he could find. He skipped over key finishes that he knew was wrong, but he was like, I'm just trying to get over. I'm just trying to get this done with. He didn't put the same care into the build that he initially started off with many years ago. When the house was done, the employer handed him a small envelope. Inside was a key. He looked up and he's confused. And the employer smiled and said, this house, it's yours. It's my gift to you. Thank you for all your years of service. The carpenter stood there stunned. He had built his own house carelessly, and now he had to live in what he had settled for. And I made this video to tell you, you are building your life every day. Whether you realize it or not, you are. And one day, you'll have to live in the house of your choices. So why not build it like it matters? Why not design your days as if your name is already on the blueprint? Because it is. Don't drift through your one life. Drive it, design it, discipline it, and devote to it. Because the life that looks like you, it won't build itself. is waiting for you to pick up the hammer and start. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you. I'll see you on the next one.